Hello everyone, I'm Luis from Luisreviewer.com, and I want to welcome you to a new podcast of Luisreviewer Reviews. Basically, on this want to do this kind of show is I take the last things that I've seen and I just give you a brief review about it. This show won't be as long because I'm only going to be reviewing two things. But like always, I'm going to start by sharing a few news that I think are worth sharing. And for this week, mainly, it's all about trailers that have been released. The first one that got me really excited was a new trailer for Cobra Kai. I was nervous about this fourth season because the last season was good, but it was starting to get a little bit, I don't know, it was just crazy fighting all the time, and just kind of got to a point where I was going, okay, but there's got to be something more. But this preview looks amazing. What's the few things that shows the return of the villain of the third Karate Kid film? Seeing Johnny and Dan and LaRusso working together, that looked kind of pretty interesting and cool. And let's see what happens. It's gonna come to Netflix on December 31st, and I can't wait to see it. It's the kind of show you see on one day. Basically, they usually last year was also on New Year's Eve, so you get the next day off, so you can binge watch the whole season if you want. So another trailer that was released was the sequel for the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse film. Many people love the first one. I am a big fan of Spider-Man, but I don't know why I could not get into that one. I don't know. I can give it credit for the animation and the style, the comic style of the film. But I don't know, something about the film itself or the storyline that I didn't quite could get into it. I don't know. But I will see the sequel. I will go see it. Like, I saw the first one twice because I wanted to see if maybe I was in a bad mood the first time I saw it. But I've seen it various times now, and still. When it comes to Miles, and I've said this, I prefer the storyline that they did for the video game rather than the film. Again, I don't know why, but I just couldn't like it. But the new trailer's been released, of course. Now the sequel was coming, and this one, I'm looking for the title here. I think it's called. Let me see, where is it? I had the title around here. Anyway, Spider-Man is just Into the Spider Universe. It's something like that. But the trailer's been released. You can see it on YouTube. Okay, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse sequel. And it's actually called Part 1. So, interesting. That means there's going to be another one besides that one. So that one, it's worth mentioning because it's a film that a lot of people really like. So I wanted to just make sure that it's out there. And so this week there was a new film. The new films that were released, at least where I live, was West Side Story and Don't Look Up, which are films. I don't know. I don't like musicals, so I don't know if I will see West Side Story, but I will see Don't Look Up. I'm waiting for it to get to Netflix. The movie has a good cast. It's in the style of other films that kind of hit a miss. I hope this one is good. But we'll see what happens with that one. So anyway, let's get to the reviews. I don't want to. This video, like I said, it won't be that long. I do want to get into. I don't want to review it yet because I haven't finished it. I have 2 more episodes to go. But there's a series on Netflix that I think is called Boar. Let me see. It's kind of a weird thing. It's Voyeur. And basically, I found it very original, the concept. I think they just take essays that some people wrote and someone reads the essay and you see visually what he's talking about. And I've seen 3 episodes. It's really interesting because I think it's normal people who love cinema. They write about their experience, and we see the either recreation or footage of the films that he's talking about. The first episode was about Jaws, which was interesting because I love that film. And we see the writer who is recreating that summer and impact that film had. So it's a very interesting concept. I think it's just short episodes. I mean, it lasts. The longest one, I think it was 22 minutes, because like I said, it's an essay that somebody wrote, and it's on Netflix, and it's kind of, I mean, I have to say that I found interesting the ones that I've seen, and I kind of like the concept about it, and I think David Fincher is involved in it somehow. So I discovered it yesterday, so I just thought that I should put it out there just in case anybody wanted to see it, because I think it's worth watching. It doesn't take a lot of time because it's kind of a short series. Lasts, like I said, 22 minutes, the max. So anyway, let's get now to the reviews, and I'm gonna start with a TV show, and it's called Chucky. Now, I was born, when I was growing up, was kind of the mid 80s. Of course, some of them started in the 80s. But horror films were big. And they were big because they had characters. Not like now, which the horror is more, I think it's more real and more in the torture sense. I was thinking about Saw and things like that. Or Supernatural. I think that's mainly covers it. But in my time, it was all about a monster. Of course, you got Freddy Krueger, you got Jason, you got the Shape in Halloween films, the Hellraiser, even the Leprechaun, and of course, Chucky. Chucky was one of the films. Child's Play, of course, it was about this serial killer named Charles Lee Ray, who was shot, and before he died, he transferred his soul to a doll, and he had to transfer back to the first person he was revealed to. Those are the storyline for the films, for the main 3 films. After the third one, I think it got a little bit crazier with the Bride of Chucky, then the Son of Chucky, and I think there was other one which was the Cult of Chucky. But this series, it takes off after the events of the Bride of Chucky, and I remember, and this is something that I was really conscious about when I came to the show, is that I remember that there was a show way back when with Freddy Krueger and Jason. But I believe, and I think more in the Freddy one, that Freddy served more as a narrator of a storyline. He wasn't involved per se in the episodes. So for Chucky, I was glad that, no, it was a story about Chucky. Chucky wasn't an outsider narrating different story. No, this was a brand new story. But instead of making it a film, they went into the TV format, and I think it worked overall. So anyway, the story is basically, like I said, follows the events of Bride of Chucky, and it's this little town of Hackensack, New Jersey. You get Jake Wheeler. Jake Wheeler lives with his abusive father. His mother passed, and he's I don't want to say weird kid, but his father kind of disappointed about the things he likes. He's making this giant ugly doll with different pieces of dolls, and that's why he goes to this garage sale and ends up buying a good guy doll because he wanted to use some of the parts. And it turns out that the good guy doll is Chucky. Chucky in this series has the ability to transfer or take over multiple bodies somehow. So naturally, Chucky reveals himself to Jake, and what Chucky wants this time around is to force these kids to kill. So he uses Jake's situations, his bullied, his father's, and all of those, trying to get him to retaliate and kill those people. And of course, he does chaos wherever he is. So So basically, that's the story. It has a lot of plot lines that I don't want to get into because I don't want to spoil main plot lines about the show. But I will say this: I think the show kept some of the elements that the films had. For instance, who's gonna believe you that a doll is doing the killing? The fact that it was the kids who saw the doll, and I'm glad that they went away from the storyline of him just wanting a body, because I thought that was gonna be about, and I was surprised that it's not about that at all. So that was interesting. I think that was very well done. So the show is, I think it was interesting. I think I liked the storyline. I liked the suspense. It's scary. The doll looks great. I know it's CGI, but it doesn't look as fake as the last film they did. So I think it works in that. I think it works in that sense. So the characters are interesting. Of course, we got a little bit of everything. We got the nice ones, the cocky ones, the bad adults, the good adults, and all that. So it's a very balanced show. It handles a lot of topics like homosexuality, abuse, and all of those things are covered in the show. Pressure from the parents to the kids. So I mean, basically, that's. I think the show worked in a lot of sense because it kept the spirit of the films while pushing forward with a new storyline instead of just him again wanting to get out of the body. I think by the end you're shocked about the whole plot that Chucky had, which I'm not gonna get into. The performances, okay, so it had Devon Sawa, who I remember from Final Destination, so he was good. So the performances were good, I think. What I liked about this is that they brought back Brad Dourif to do the voice of Chucky, and the kids were okay. There were some points or some scenes where I don't know, maybe the acting was a little bit off, but overall, the kids were good they did good performances. I love that they brought back the original actor who played Andy and his stepsister from the second film, Christine, who also played Emily Valentine in 90210. She makes an appearance. So this helps to kind of tie it to the nostalgic part to moving forward the story. So I was glad to see that. Then they worked it pretty well. There were moments that were the plot line kind of a little bit confused, and I was scared like maybe they dragged this too long. But by the end, it all makes sense, and you no longer feel that way about the show. So like I said, it was an interesting show. If you're a fan of Child's Play, I think you will enjoy the show. I kind of saw it in 2 days, so it's only 8 episodes. They're pretty long. They're almost like an hour. But you can see it fairly fast. And like I said, if you're a fan of the movies, I think you're gonna like it because it has the horror aspect of it, and the dark humor of Chucky is also present. For being made for TV, it has a lot of language and all of that. So again, it keeps with the spirit, or not the spirit, the style of the films. So that was Chucky. That's the show Chucky. I saw it on Peacock. So if you're interested in just seeing that, it only costs like $4.99 for a month. You can then take it out, which is what I did. In fact, I paid for to see Saved by the Bell, but I kind of saw that they put Chucky in, and I said, let me just see it before the month expires. And I was able to do it. I finished it today. So the other thing that I wanted to review is the film Jungle Cruise. Jungle Cruise. I've been saying that I was gonna see that movie since it arrived on Disney Plus in November, and I finally got to see it. I think just 3 days ago. I don't know, something about it. It's like it's not that I thought it was gonna be a bad movie, but I didn't think that it was gonna be that exciting or great either. So let's go about it. It's directed by Jaume Colette Serra, and it stars, of course, Dwayne Johnson, Emily Blunt, Paul Giamatti, and Edgar Ramirez, who is a great actor. So the story is about Dr. Lily Houston. She's set on finding this tree called Lágrimas de Cristal, and something about the tears of the moon, which is an ancient artifact. And when she steals this arrow thing, kind of like serves as a map or something that will help her find it, she goes to the Dwayne Johnson's character, so he can be the guide in the jungle to get there. So as I was watching the movie, I gotta say a few things. It felt like a toned down Indiana Jones. So the movie is not bad. It had its fun moments. The adventure action is kind of cool. Emily Blunt's character and Dwayne Johnson character, they're funny. They work well together. But it's not either something like amazed me or kept me glued. It took effort to finish it, because I was being entertained, but I didn't feel the need to see it either. I was just so if you're looking to just pass the time, have a good time with a film, it's not bad. You already have Disney Plus and you're not spending anything extra to see it. I mean, the effects were good. Edgar Ramirez character looked kind of great, but there were some moments where the CGI did not work as well. Like I said, it's not a bad movie. A few things work. Like for me, it was mainly about The Rock and Emily. I think they play well together, but I didn't see anything that blew me away or that I could say, "Ooh, I hope they do another one." No, I think one was enough. So it's not a bad movie. I enjoyed it, but I don't know. It's like okay, fine. It had a nice plots and twist, and for a movie based on a ride, I think it's one of the best ones that I've seen based on Disney rides, because it's not the first film based on a ride that they've done. So this one, at least it wasn't bad. So it wasn't something marvelous or something great, but it wasn't bad. So I give it that, because I think there were others based on rides that just didn't work. I think Haunted Mansion comes to mind, and I'm sure they made other ones that I can't remember now. So basically, those are the two films that I've seen. I mean, that I wanted to review for this week. So anyway, Chucky, good show. If you are a fan of the movies, you're gonna like it. And Jungle Cruise, in a nutshell, nothing wow. It could entertain you. If you have nothing else to do, it's not bad, but it's not great either. So remember, you can see more reviews on www.luisreviewer.com. You can subscribe to the blog. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Luisreviewer. Luisreviewer also on Facebook. You can like or follow the page. And I don't use it much, but I'm also on Instagram. So take care, and let's keep talking about music and movies.